Vihare. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhare. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. Jai Jai Gurudev 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 Jai Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Gurudev. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Pratyag-akṣaja Astota Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Primshika Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Gaura Pramanande Hare Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Kṛṣṇa. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Kṛṣṇa. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Kṛṣṇa. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Kṛṣṇa Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Bandhu Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vrishabhanusute Deve Pranamami Hare Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to today's ecstatic class of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we are going to read Canto 3, Chapter 21, entitled Conversation between Manu and Kardama, Shloka number 33. Please read after me. Maitreya vacha evam tam anubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣajaḥ jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Maitreya vacha evam tam anubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Maitreya vacha evam tam anubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Maitreya vacha evam tanubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja bhagavān bindusarasaḥ jagāma pariśritāt bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Maitreya vacha evam tam anubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Maitreya vacha evam tam anubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Maitreya vacha evam tam anubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Maitreya vacha evam tanubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Maitreya vacha evam tam anubhāṣyātha bhagavān pratyag-akṣaja jagāma bindu-sarasaḥ sarasvatyā pariśritāt Word for word. Maitreya vacha. The great sage Maitreya said, evam, thus, tam, to him, anubhāṣya, having spoken, atha, then, bhagavān, the Lord, pratyag, directly, akṣa, by senses, jagāma, who is perceived, jagāma, went away, bindu-sarasaḥ, from Lake Bindu-sarovara, sarasvatyā, by the river Sarasvatī, pariśritāt, encircled. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: Maitreya went on, thus having spoken to Kardama Muni, the Lord, who reveals himself only when the senses are in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, departed from that lake called Bindu-sarovara, which was encircled by the river Sarasvatī. Purport: one word in this verse is very significant. The Lord is stated here to be pratyag-akṣaja. He is imperceptible to material senses, but still he can be seen. This appears to be contradictory. We have material senses, but how can we see the Supreme Lord? He is called atha, which means that he cannot be seen by the material senses. Akṣaja means knowledge perceived by material senses. Because the Lord is not an object that can be understood by speculation with our material senses, he is also called ajita. He will conquer, but no one can conquer him. What does it mean then? That still he can be seen. It is explained that no one can hear the transcendental name of Kṛṣṇa, no one can understand his transcendental form, and no one can assimilate his transcendental pastimes. It is not possible. Then, how is it possible that he can be seen and understood? When one is trained in devotional service and renders service unto him, gradually one's senses are purified of material contamination. When one's senses are thus purified, then one can see, one can understand, one can hear, and so on. The purification of the material senses and perception of the transcendental form, name, and quality of Kṛṣṇa are combined together in one word, pratyag-akṣaja, which is used here. Please repeat the translation after me. Maitreya went on, thus having spoken to Kardama Muni, the Lord, who reveals himself only when the senses are in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, departed from that lake called Bindu-sarovara, which was encircled by the river Sarasvatī. First of all, I would like to give everyone a note about this Bindu-sarovara. According to Srila Jiva Goswami's Bhakti Sandarbha in this Anucheta 225, he mentioned why this lake is called Bindu-sarovara. We know sarovar means a lake, and bindu means a drop. So a drop becomes a lake. Where this drop comes from? Actually, a few days ago, when Rameshwar Prabhu is giving class, he mentioned that Kardama Muni, he was doing constant meditation for 10,000 years. 10,000 years without deviation, only thinking of Kṛṣṇa. So if we know that someone's thinking of us favorably, we would naturally feel very happy and delighted. And if we know that someone is thinking about us with full love and devotion, with undeviated attention, and that thinking is like a meditation, like a trance, like a samadhi, and it lasts for 10,000 years, that would make you how to feel. You'll be touched, right? So Lord Kṛṣṇa is also like that. He knows that when Kardama Muni was thinking about him for 10,000 years, constantly, without any deviation, he was touched by that kind of love and affection. And when he came to show himself, to reveal himself to Kardama Muni, at that time, out of spiritual bliss, out of this ecstasy, out of his appreciation of the Muni's affection and love for him, he drops one tear, and that tear he shed becomes bindu-sarovara. And now it's Kartik time. Every day we are offering lamp to Kṛṣṇa. And the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually I learned this from Pujari course. It is mentioned that if you offer something to Kṛṣṇa, like a lamp or even a flower, and then Kṛṣṇa smiles towards you, only once in your lifetime, then you're successful. Not mentioning that Lord feeling your love so much, and he was touched, and he even shed tears. How fortunate he is. And when we are learning this, and we are thinking of how to learn something and also apply that in our devotional services. We offer something, and even if not so big, even we are just thinking of Kṛṣṇa with loving affection, and that can touch Kṛṣṇa's heart. Then we can get all the blessings. Actually, here at the end of the purport, it is very interesting. This mentions that actually we can perceive Lord's transcendental form, name, and the quality of Kṛṣṇa. And everything combined in one word is called pratyag-akṣaja. Pratyag-akṣaja, that means Kṛṣṇa can be experienced with our senses. I'm sure some of you have already graduated from Bhakti Sastri, so you still remember at the beginning of the 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it is said pratyag-akṣaja garman. So pratyag means with the senses perception. So Kṛṣṇa consciousness is like a science. Science means you can make experiment and then you can feel it, you can perceive it. So Kṛṣṇa consciousness is basically like a kind of experience. Maybe we learned a lot of theories, but what keeps us on the track? What keeps us to fight against all the adversities in our life and face all the challenges? That is our experiences. And when we share with other people, how much we are giving big talks, it doesn't matter. But if we can share our experience of feel of love and joy with others, that is very effective preaching. Actually, in the Madhura Kadambini by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he also mentions that we can have this good fortune, we can experience Kṛṣṇa one by one. When we reach the stage of prema, then we can experience each of our individual senses would be invoked by Kṛṣṇa. First of all is the senses of seeing, the senses of the sight. And Kṛṣṇa would reveal himself to us. At that time, our other senses, including our mind, would all take the function of our eyes. Like our whole body, whole being is only looking at Kṛṣṇa. We see Kṛṣṇa with even our ears or our nose and our mouth and our skin and our mind, of course, everything. And then we become fainted because that ecstasy is too much. It's simply too much. Just like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he's commenting on Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 1st chapter, shloka number 3. It's a beautiful shloka. Nigama kalpataro galitam phalam shuka mukha dramata dava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuve bhavukaha. And in this shloka there is a special word called muhur. Muhur means moment. So in the series study of the recent Bhagavatam shlokas, we also understand there's appearance of this muhur. Muhur and muhur. Also, this word appears at the end of Bhagavad Gita. The Sanjaya said, muhur muhurhu. Constantly, like moment by moment, I am feeling this ecstasy whenever I am remembering this divine instruction by Kṛṣṇa to his dear friend Arjuna. So in that 1.1.3, muhur means constantly. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, when you see Kṛṣṇa, Just like every day we see this festival of Darshan Arti, it's also like drinking nectar with so many devotees in this divine association of all the wonderful devotees, and we see Kṛṣṇa. And then we feel like drinking nectar, like drinking wine, and wine is very intoxicating. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, Muhur means you're constantly drinking and drinking this nectar. Then what happened? If you're drinking too much, you become intoxicated and then you faint. You lost consciousness. And the beauty in Krishna consciousness and the beauty in reading and relishing the sweetness of Srimad Bhagavatam is that it's just like a liquor, like a transcendental liquor. And you drink until you fainted. And what would happen? When you are recovered again, you again regain your consciousness. You woke up from unconsciousness and you can continue to drink up to the point you faint again. So when our all beings, our whole being, or all senses, including our mind, taking the function of our eyes to see Kṛṣṇa, and we are experiencing his beautiful face, at that time we fainted, and then Kṛṣṇa would use the senses of sound to wake us up again. He would call us, oh my dear devotee, actually I am yours. You can do whatever you want with me now. I am now yours. And then by this divine sweet sound of Lord Kṛṣṇa, that devotee again woke up from unconsciousness. And now he would use his ears to experience Kṛṣṇa. And now including even his eyes, including his mind, all his senses are taking the function of his ears. And he's experiencing Kṛṣṇa with the senses of hearing until he fainted, because that such a great and extraordinary ecstasy he cannot tolerate as a jiva soul. When he fainted, what would happen? And then the Acharya revealed to us that Kṛṣṇa would now release his fragrance to us. And so when that Kṛṣṇa's flavor enters into our nostrils, we again wake up from our unconsciousness. And now our senses, including our mind, will take the function of the nose. And we start to experience Kṛṣṇa's fragrance until we faint again. And then what would happen? And then Kṛṣṇa would use his sense of touch to wake us up again. And for different devotees on different level, in different flavor of rasa, he would touch us differently. For devotees in Dasaras, he would put his beautiful lotus feet on that devotee's head. At that time you wake up. But for devotees, like in the rasa of Sakhya rasa, and then Kṛṣṇa would like embrace you. And then for the devotees in Vatsalya rasa, and Kṛṣṇa would like use his lotus hand to touch your cheeks and wipe away your joyful tears and wakes you up. And for very special, rare devotees in Madhurya rasa, and Kṛṣṇa gives something special. Kṛṣṇa may even kiss you. And then you again wake up. And then at the last stage, Kṛṣṇa would reveal everything towards you. Kṛṣṇa, the beauty of his form, and the beauty of his sound, and the beauty of his fragrance, his smell, and the beauty of his touch, and everything at one time reveals to you, and then again you fainted. And then Kṛṣṇa, he gives you compassion, and again you wake up. But in order to reach this stage of ecstasy, this complete, the perfection of our life for Krishna Prema, we need to start from the beginning. We start from our sadhana. And our sadhana starts from little bit of shraddha. That little bit of shraddha, actually in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sri Godruma Kalpatavi, he mentions Lord Nityananda, he opened a market of the holy name right in Navadvip. Navadvip, 500 years ago, Navadvip is not the present Navadvip. We have to take a boat and cross River Jalangi and Ganges, and then that is Navadvip town. But 500 years ago, here, whatever we are sitting right here, this is Navadvip. And so right here in Navadvip, and Mahaprabhu is walking and is revealing everything, and we understand the whole 9 islands of Navadvip is created by Srimati Radharani in order to please Kṛṣṇa. But on another hand, the 9 islands of Navadvip is also corresponding to the 9 process of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parisevanam, Vandanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So when we are walking on the land of Navadvip, actually we are also connecting by Srimati Radharani's mercy with the 9 process of devotional service. And everything starts from little faith, from little shraddha, that we contacted some devotees, and the devotees, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the devotees can contaminate us with a mood, with a tendency to start devotional service. So by that little bit of association with the devotees, we also developed a desire. We also want to become a Vaishnava, and we also want to do a little bit of services. And at that time, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, our spiritual realization is like a flavor of, like a trace of a fragrance, like a gandha now appeared in our consciousness. Right now, at this stage, of course, we have a lot of material desires. The material desires are all pervasive and dominant, but still we have this little flavor, and now we have to cultivate. We cultivate them in the association of the devotees. And at this stage, it is compared, we got 1 paisa to purchase. What we purchase? We purchase the holy name. We got 1 paisa, and with this 1 paisa, we can buy holy name. That is why we welcome everyone, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Just you're willing to, okay, then you're qualified. You're qualified to do devotional service. You're qualified to chant. And then we do sadhu sangha, we associate with the devotees, we do bhajana kriya, and inside the process of bhajana kriya, we take shelter of the spiritual master, we get initiation. And then finally we come to the stage of nishtha. After this anartha nivritti, we come to the stage of nishtha. This is compared, we have more money, now we have more capitals. We have now 8 annas. It's like 1/8 of a silver coin at the nishtha stage. At this stage, nishtha means very steady, very fixed. Then we can purchase a holy name with the Lord's form, because the holy name can reveal everything to us. The holy name can reveal to us the Lord's rupa, guna, lila, and dhamma, and everything. So now we can purchase the holy name with the Lord's beautiful form. And then next, after nishtha, we again cultivate. We come to the state of ruchi. That means we have more money. We have now 1/4 of a silver coin. At this time, we can purchase a holy name with lila, with guna, with Krishna's wonderful qualities. And then asakti, we become more attached to the Lord. Now we have half silver coin. Now we can purchase the Lord's holy name with leelas. The leelas, pastimes, can be revealed to us. And then after asakti, come to the stage of rati. Actually, rati is a synonym with bhava. And on the stage of bhava, it means we have a complete silver coin. Now we can purchase holy name with mellows, with rasa, but we cannot get everything, because bhava state is only like the first beam of the sun of prema. But now we can purchase the holy name with mellow, with rasa. And at the end, the last stage, prema state, it is said we have 1 golden coin. And with this golden coin, we can purchase a holy name with all the rasas, with all the mellows. So this is the goal. But during the process, we have to try very hard. And in Srimad Bhagavatam 9th canto, it is mentioned how Ambarish Maharaj is performing these 9 devotional services. There are 3 shlokas in the consecutive order, and then the last one, in the last 2 lines, it is mentioned Kamancha Dasi Kama Kamyaya Yatotma Shloka Janashraya Ratihi. So it says that Ambarish Maharaj is 24 hours thinking of Kṛṣṇa, and 24 hours of thinking, how can I perform devotional service? He has no desires at all for sense gratification for himself. And in this way, this is a way to make progress. This is a way to reach Rati, but we have to follow Janashraya. Jana means person. Ashraya means we have to take shelter. We have to take such person's shelter. And interestingly, Srila Prabhupada, in his word-to-word translation of Jana, he specifically mentioned that Jana means persons like Prahlāda Maharaj. Actually, if you look back and forth, you cannot find this section. It doesn't mention about Prahlāda Maharaj, but Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned about Prahlāda Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada, he once said that all his Bhaktivedanta purports are his ecstasies. Out of his ecstasy, and he's revealing his realization to us. He's sharing what is most beautiful, what is most treasured by him to all of us. So we can understand. We follow personalities like Prahlāda Maharaj, like Srila Prabhupada himself. Then that is a way how we can achieve Rati. Because before that, we all remember how we come to Krishna consciousness. Before that, we are like rascals. Now, every day we see Mother Yashoda is binding Krishna Damodar on the altar. We may reflect, actually, we are also bind, but we are not bind by Mother Yashoda. We are bind by our numerous material desires. We are tightly bind by those things in this material world. We cannot see Krishna. We cannot see Goloka Tattva. We cannot see anything spiritual. That's why we continue our business of repeated birth and death. And then that would, whatever consciousness we have for now, would determine next life we have to again reincarnate in this material world. And whatever we are doing now, whatever consciousness we have, that would decide our specific flavor for our next set of birth, death, old age, and disease. And that means we have to change our vision. Actually, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 2, shloka number 45, in the purport by Srila Prabhupada's followers, it is mentioned that a devotee on the highest level of spiritual qualification is glorified by his expansiveness of his spiritual vision. Shall I repeat? Then we can meditate on this sentence again and again. So, a devotee of the highest level of a spiritual qualification is glorified by his expansiveness of a spiritual vision. When we hear of this sentence, whom we think about? Srila Prabhupada. Because we can see, like when Mayapur, at the beginning, there's only Bhajan Kutir and nothing else. At that time, Bhavananda Maharaj, and he asked Srila Prabhupada, what to do? I have no money, and there's even tigers outside of the main gate, and there's poison snakes crawling everywhere. And Jananiwas Prabhu even once mentioned, if in 2 weeks there's a person coming to visit our ISKCON Sridham Mayapur, we consider this preaching. It's a success. A lot of people are coming. 2 weeks, you get some 1 or 2 guests. But now every day after Mangal Arti, our general manager is announcing, today we have 20,000, 30,000, some festivals we have even 60 over 1,000 people's pilgrimages coming to visit. At that time, cannot see. And Prabhupada said, oh, our Bhavananda always worrying about money. But now we see the development. We see like a full lotus. The Sri Dham Mayapur is slowly opening up its petals differently. And there are more devotees and more like pilgrimage places are discovered. And then we are thinking how Prabhupada is envisioning everything, what kind of vision he has, the exact expansiveness of his spiritual vision. And a few years ago I went to Juhu. So the devotees told me at the beginning our Juhu center is just near the sea. It's like a deserted piece of land. Nobody likes it. But now become the city center. And also when I was visiting ISKCON Bhuvaneshwar, and devotees there said, before this is like waste of land. Even the locals said, please don't buy this land. But now that place also become the city center. And there are so many stories, I'm sure all of you knows. So that means Srila Prabhupada is showing us a wonderful example. And learning and following his example, we learn how to envision our spiritual future. And what does it mean when we apply this to our practical like sadhana life? That means whenever we are feeling adversities, maybe nobody is appreciating our service, or maybe whatever I want to get, the specific service is not assigned to me, or maybe we're criticized, or maybe we have serious health issues, or so many other things. Kali Yuga, people are always fighting with each other. That means in those dark moments, we should have this future vision of our own spiritual future. And we should also have the vision of our ISKCON spiritual future. Now it's only the dawn of the golden age, and it's going to have 10,000 years. What would happen in the future after 5 years, after 10 years? Maybe you would be engaged in your most favorite devotional service. And that time you can fully relish in whatever you like. And recently I also heard Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj. He was glorifying Ratanand Maharaj, preparing for his Vyasa Puja. And he mentioned one incident. He said that Ratanand Maharaj, for many years, he was serving in ISKCON New Virginia in that farm, New Vrindavan. Nobody was there. He was the only devotee there. They have small Radha Krishna deities. Although the deities are small, but the standard service is not small. At least every day you have to offer 6 times of bhoga and 6 times of arti, and you have to bathe the deity, you have to dress them and sleep them. And only one person is doing this alone, and there's not much facilities. And that place is very cold in the winters, and sometimes he has to use the snow or ice to rub himself to take a bath. And imagine for 6 artis, you have to take several baths during the day. But he didn't think, oh, I'm alone in this like deserted place, no development. Nobody is appreciating my service. He didn't give up. And then we can see the merging of the whole like Chopati community, and then his disciples, the Pune community, and also the merging of this Govardhan eco-village. And they have the complete replica of the real Vrindavans, all the 7 major temples. Because in his heart, when nobody is bothering him, when nobody is assisting him, and nobody is even appreciating what he's doing, that time he didn't lose this spiritual vision. This is what we can apply. We catch the essence from these examples and we apply into our life. We must have this vision. And also another important thing, we can relate Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam together. This shloka is especially talking about the spiritual vision of seeing Kṛṣṇa with our senses. When our senses are in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, at that time we can see Kṛṣṇa. In Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 6, verse 30, it is mentioned that for such a person, he can see everything is within me, and I am within everything. I am never lost. I'm never lost to him, and he's never lost to me. That means such a devotee can always see Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa always sees such a devotee. Even when we feel 100% to 100% sure nobody is appreciating what I'm doing, still Kṛṣṇa sees. Kṛṣṇa seeing everything we are doing. And we should also have the vision to see Kṛṣṇa in every corner of our life. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he's commenting, a seeing of Kṛṣṇa everywhere, is talking about Mother Yashoda seeing Kṛṣṇa's inside his mouth, and she's seeing everything in the whole universe, and also he sees herself is looking inside Kṛṣṇa's mouth. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur used a very interesting word called paśyat. Paśyat means one must see. One must see, but it doesn't mean that literally we have to visualize Kṛṣṇa everywhere. Oh, I'm talking about Bhagavatam. I see Kṛṣṇa is dancing on your head. I see Kṛṣṇa sitting next to you. It doesn't mean that. That means one is qualified. One is qualified to see Kṛṣṇa face to face. One has the qualification to get Kṛṣṇa's association. Because if we judge the devotees like this is a Kanishta, this is Madhyam, that is Uttama Adhikari, according to how they see Kṛṣṇa everywhere. And then in that sense, even Srila Narada Muni, Vyasadeva, or Shukadev Goswami, they are not up to the standard. The Goswamis, they are always lamenting how we can see Kṛṣṇa, where we can see Kṛṣṇa. So that really means we have to have the desire to see Kṛṣṇa. To see Kṛṣṇa everywhere means we always, constantly, from time to time, continuously, we have this overwhelming desire to see Kṛṣṇa. And we have this overwhelming desire to serve Kṛṣṇa. This is Srila Prabhupada said, the principle of Krishna consciousness. We have to have this overwhelming desire to see Kṛṣṇa, and we have to have this overwhelming desire to serve Kṛṣṇa only to please him. And although we may see separate individual manifestations from this material nature, but we don't have any tendency, any idea, any desire of enjoying them separately from Kṛṣṇa. Otherwise, we are choosing our future life a specific flavor, a specific set of birth, death, old age, and disease. And on this aspect of always want to see Kṛṣṇa, I want to quote from Srila Japataka Maharaj. We learn from the realizations of the great devotees of the Lord. Japataka Maharaj, after he saw the movie of Maha Avatar Nrsimhadev, he said the most impressive part for him is when Prahlāda Maharaj is praying. He said, I was born in a demoniac family, and I know I have no qualification to see you, my Lord. But still, I have this desire. I have this strong desire to see you. Japataka Maharaj mentions, this is the most impressive part for him after watching the whole movie. And what we can learn from Maharaj's realization, we learn that we should always have this desire to see Kṛṣṇa. Just like Mother Kunti, she's praying that let all the disasters to come. Because disasters coming, they're not seeing the disasters, they are only seeing Kṛṣṇa. But when everything is peaceful, prosperous, no enemies attacking, no political plots, they cannot see Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa is not coming. This is a vision we want to cultivate. We know we have no qualification, but we still want we want to see Kṛṣṇa, and we want to serve him in an overwhelming way. We want to fear the existence of the material world. But sometimes we are not feeling that. We are feeling it's good, it's very nice. We can do nice shopping, we can take pizzas, whatever we like, and we are enjoying life, we sleep. We cannot see the danger of this material world. But we want to see Kṛṣṇa. and we want to conquer him. In the purport of this shloka, it is mentioned that Krishna is called Ajita, he cannot be conquered. But he can be conquered by the devotees' love, by the devotees' affection for him. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma, after he's stealing all Krishna's cowherd friends and all the cows and calves, after that he repented and he came back to pray to Krishna. And he said a beautiful prayer. Yane prayasam udapasya namanta eva jivanti sammukaritam bhavadiya vartam stane stita shrutikatam tanuvam manobhir ye prayasho jita jito pyasitai strilokyam. Jita jito, jita ajita. That means Krishna is unconquerable, but he can be conquered. Kardama Muni conquered Krishna. Just by thinking of him without any deviation for 10,000 years, Krishna was conquered by his love, by his thinking, and Krishna shed one drop of tear for him, and that becomes a holy Bindu-sarovara. So we no need to do big collection, big temple, a lot of disciples. Even we could think of Krishna. We think of Krishna in our mind without any other desires. And then when it's deep enough, when it's constant enough, that would bring Krishna's direct association to us. Hare Krishna. So I leave 8 minutes for any corrections, comments, and questions. We have a microphone? Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for the class, Mataji. I have a question on how to understand our position. You spoke about personal vision and our service. How to understand it more clearly, because sometimes there are different options, sometimes it's just not clear at all.
Can I ask you, what do you mean by different options?
Shall I go more Brahminical? Shall I be more managerial, for instance? It may arise, like I'm a grihasta, so at the moment we are doing home programs, but there are other possibilities in Belgium, so which one should I focus on specifically? And how to get that clear in my mind?
Hare Krishna, very relevant question. So we can do it from two ways. One way is we take suggestions and advices from our senior authorities. It is usually that if we have some guiding like mentor or our Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, they know our inclination better, so they would guide us. You are more Brahmanically inclined or Kshatriya inclined, so they would give suggestions in which way you can serve better. Another way is we improve our clarity of our mind. How to improve our clarity of our mind? Very practical way is to study Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, in the Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comments in this 1.1.3, he mentioned, specifically pick up the word after muhuraho. Raho, we separate, that means aho. Aho, how to translate? Oh. How to comment on this oh? Oh, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, means surprise. That means whatever you cannot get from anywhere else, surprisingly you can get in Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we study more, immerse ourselves more in this study of Srimad Bhagavatam, we get more clarity of our mind. Our intelligence also got broadened, and we have more insight into the different kinds of choices, and we become clear. And it is also said by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, you can read the comments in for verse 3 and verse 4. He did specifically mention there are various devotees with different desires. But whatever level you are in, you just engage yourself in this study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then all your desires would be fulfilled. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for the class. You mentioned a very important point of how devotees want to see Krishna. In the Purport, Prabhupada says that when one is trained in devotional service and render services unto him, gradually one's senses are purified of material contamination, and when it is purified, they can perceive Krishna, they can see Krishna. So in my stage, after many years, in ISKCON or staying, practicing, this desire to see Krishna doesn't come yet. It has not yet come. That means, as per Prabhupada's purport, my senses are not purified. That means I am not being trained in devotional service. So how do we keep this mentality of being trained in Krishna consciousness? Because after some years, the devotees also don't speak anything. They don't guide or give corrections also. No, he's so many years ahead. So how do we keep this mentality of being trained?
Hare Krishna, very nice question. I believe you're asking this question also out of part of your humility. I could see whenever there's Shobha Yatra, Prabhu is always cooking and very eagerly to offer bhog to the Lord. So I can understand you're very eager to see, but for our benefits, you're asking this question. And it is true that sometimes, familiarity breeds contempt. And so after some time, we become familiar. We take everything for granted. We lost that kind of enthusiasm, what to do. We can again gain the same enthusiasm from the other devotees. I could see even from this classroom, I'm sure some devotees, they're not like Mayapur residential residents, but they're coming maybe for Kartik, Yatra or something. And when we see they are so eager, and when we see their enthusiasm, we will be inspired. And also, we try to serve our spiritual master. I again want to quote one sentence from the Bhagavatam. Actually, it is again in the 11th canto, chapter 2. It's the conversation between, there's a 9 Yugandhars meeting with Maharaj Nimi. And in that conversation, they were talking about the different levels of devotees. And it specifically mentioned that the Uttama Adhikaris, they have a supernatural power. They have supernatural power of devotional service. And by that supernatural power of devotional service, they can inspire and give success to the madhyama, intermediate devotees. And then, even for the Kanishta Adhikaris, the supernatural power of devotional service can also have some impact on them and inspire them to become, to aspire to come to the level of intermediate level of devotional service. And how does it happen? It happens automatically. This supernatural power of bhakti, how to inspire us, how to give us success, and how to make us aspire for the madhyam stage of devotional service, it happened automatically. How it happens automatically? Because it springs from the ocean of mercy located within a pure devotee's heart. So we pray to our Guru. We try to serve him by listening to his classes again and again, by thinking about his instructions again and again, and by reading the scriptures, by associating with devotees and doing parikramas. We should lament. When we lament, there's so many things we don't see. For example, Tungavidya Sakhi's incarnation in Gaura Leela, Srila Prabodhananda Sarasvatī, and he composed 100 verses to glorify Sri Navadvip Dham, called Sri Navadvip Shataka. And in the middle of that composition, in shloka number 60, it is mentioned, wandering in the Navadvip Dham, just wandering. You just walk, you don't know where to go, you're even aimless, you're just wandering Navadvip Dham. It's the best of all opulences. And wandering in Navadvip Dham is the best of all religious principles. And wandering in Navadvip Dham is the best of all kinds of perfection. And the wandering in Navadvip Dham is the best of all kinds of worship. And wandering in Navadvip Dham is the best of all glories. And wandering in Navadvip Dham is the best of all oceans of sweetness. And there are also some shlokas in that small book. It is mentioned that we have to think about Radharani created this Navadvipdham for Krishna's pleasure. And so that means Radharani and Kṛṣṇa, they performed many, many pastimes in Navadvipdham. But such sweet pastimes are so secret, it is mentioned that even Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, they cannot get even one drop of such secret pastimes. What about us? Have we ever thinking about what is the sweet pastimes that Radha and Kṛṣṇa performed in Navadvipdham? And why I didn't realize just by walking in Navadvipdham, I achieved the best of all opulences, the best of everything. When we're thinking about this, we again become enthused, inspired. According to the Upadeshamrita, it is mentioned we have to perform devotional services with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is not a passion. It is a passion combined with intelligence. Where we get this intelligence? We get intelligence by studying the scriptures, by the sadhu sangha. Hare Krishna, hope this answered your question. Thank you for everyone. It is mentioned and specifically put this big clock here. So Grantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Hare Hare Bo. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your patience. Hare Krishna.